So one thing we were talking about motivation and character, and I was wondering, for people who want to get in boxing, um, especially like maybe the amateur guys, who are in the amateur guys
Yep.
boxing and they're considering professionals.
Hmm.
What would you suggest them to do? What advice would you tell them to follow? And most importantly, what advice would you tell them not to follow?
Okay, that's a great question. Advice to follow. Take my advice on this because this is what I did. A lot of people I realized as amateurs, they're protected. They didn't want to take certain fights because they weren't ready or this or that. I went the other route where anybody who's the best, I wanted to fight, and I did. I called out people. I said to my trainer, I want to fight that. I saw one guy fight. I want to fight that guy. Like that's what I did. And a lot of people these days are too protective over even amateur fighters. And it's like you want to win all the time. I always want to win, but you want to take chances where you, even if you do lose as an amateur, you learn from it. So even if you know a guy's way better than you, take the fight. You'll learn. You'll get better. That's one piece of advice I'd tell amateurs: is fight anybody. Right? You can't. If you start winning a few fights and you feel good about yourself, but you know you didn't beat good people, you're not going to be confident. You're going to go against somebody good eventually, and you're going to lose just before you even get in the ring. That's one thing I'd probably say, to really just go for the best and try to compete, you know.
So watching your records basically on amateur, really like trying to pump it up, it wouldn't bring you as much of return on investment in your professional career as people think. So,
Exactly. Yeah. You know, but obviously you to get noticed, to get somewhere, especially being a pro, it would be nice to be undefeated, go to the Olympics, but it doesn't happen. Everyone, Roy Jones, one of my favorite fighters of all time, had like probably, I don't know, I don't remember the number, but something like 20 losses. Mayweather had, I think, 12 or 15, something like that. Everybody has losses, well, for the most part, right? And, that shows a sign of having experience. You're not going to be an amateur fighter, be undefeated with a lot of fights unless, it just doesn't happen.